Hello there, toy collectors. My name is Kevin, aka Toying Around, and I am very excited to bring you this special review.
If anything, the Kim family, they're archetypes.
Which is sad, but not always a bad thing.
I'm okay. I have one.
Let's,
Zusi on the name.
Let's try them. Let's still try.
Am I in focus? Awesome. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Everyone watching on the YouTube and Twitch. My name is Kevin, aka Toying Around. If you are new around here, that's awesome. I know there's a lot of new subscribers over on Twitch and on YouTube, so thank you for coming through. If you're new here, this is Bad Batch Case of the Mondays, where I get to sit down with my friends and talk about this awesome TV show, Star Wars: The Bad Batch, and as a channel that talks about action figures and collecting and doing unboxings and stuff every week. We also get to talk about the awesome merch that goes along with the TV shows and movies and all the cool stuff that we like to watch. So that's been a lot of fun. This is episode 13 of the Bad Batch. So this is the 12th week that we've been doing this. First episode, remember, there's two episodes on the premiere. So thank you for joining us. My first host. She works in the marketing side of the toy industry, but she's also a collector herself with a lot of cool stuff. Her t-shirt game is always on point. She is a world-renowned streamer. You can catch her Twitch link in the description below as requested by her. No Wikipedia link though. This is Livin, Vida, Yoko.
No Wikipedia link though. It's been a few weeks since we talked about that, so that's great.
I let that joke kind of cool off, and then I bring it back.
And bring it back, yeah.
Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Happy Monday, everybody.
I stubbed my toe trying to get back here on time.
Yes, you did. Well, you were already late at that point.
Yeah.
Not that I should talk, because my streams never start on time, but I would have called punctual.
Yeah.
You are probably the one punctual streamer that I know, except for today.
That's fine.
That's a half compliment. That's mostly a compliment.
It was good while it lasted. Let's bring on our other friend and other co-host. He's like a fellow Asian Canadian geeky dad, baseball lover, Star Wars collector, but his stuff is much more high end. You might have seen him on TV sometimes, Mandalorian and that other show, Kim's Convenience. My brain is getting old. Even that sentence sounded terrible. But this is Mr. Paul.
What do you mean even?
Sun-Hyung Lee. Oh, what's
going on, everybody? Hey, Kev, I have to say, I was gonna say you've upped your intro game. I mean, you had the fresh, you didn't repeat the same old, like you didn't ease into the old easy chair and sort of get your butt in that groove there and kind of go, well, this has been working for a few weeks. I'm not going to change it up. You actually did, and I really like Yoko's intro. I thought it was really cool, and you're right. Her t-shirt game is on point.
Always, right?
Absolutely,
she has enough Star Wars shirts for like another season of Bad Batch streams.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make it through the season with fresh shirts every week.
What is that? What shirt are you wearing now? I just see
this one from out of print. It says read. Read, it is the way.
I thought it said dead at first. Because the R was covered by your hair.
I should keep my hair back.
No. What? Do you know something about what happens to Grogu? What's going on?
This shirt just got really dark.
Yeah, that was thanks to Paul.
I got to do a side pony. Keep this way.
Well, I'm glad to have everyone here again this Monday. There's only 3 episodes left, so I'm a little bit. Sometimes there's 3 episodes of a show. You kind of save it. You try to savor it a little bit and not watch it all at once. But we can't do that, obviously, because we have this. But 3 episodes left. And did you guys get anything Star Warsy related?
Are we gonna start with this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
So much. I was away for the week.
Right.
And all the stuff that I had either won via auction on eBay or ordered stupidly arrived all on Monday. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh my God, we're going to be away. and all this stuff is coming. So it was just that got me, and it all arrived on Monday. But I actually got a couple of helmets that I won through eBay. Anovos helmets, actually. I got like the Mandalorian Season 1 helmet, and one that I haven't seen in the wild in a long time, and that's the AT-AT driver's helmet.
Oh, nice.
And this guy, I guess he's based out of Calgary, Alberta. He put like five or six buckets up on auction, all Anovos. A couple are really hard to get. And so I just jumped all over it, especially because it was a Canadian seller as well, and it wouldn't have to pay import tax. And,
nice.
So I won a couple of those. I ordered a Corbanth, 89 sabers, all metal hilt, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm gonna try to do a lightsaber build on my YouTube channel.
That's fun.
And a bunch of other things, really cool things too. So that was my haul.
How about you, Yoko?
I got one thing. Actually, I found it at a secondhand store. I did not know this. I did not know what this was. And so as I'm looking at, but it looked cool. So I was like Googling it. Have you guys heard of CEDs? The video disc before Laserdisc?
Oh, yeah.
It was like a totally failed thing, apparently. But I found Return of the Jedi on CED. And as I was Googling, apparently this was like one of the last titles that came out on these discs. So the Return of the Jedi is actually a hard one to find. You can get, the Star Wars and Empire are pretty cheap on eBay if you look for them. But this one's a little bit tougher to find, and it's like two discs. And I guess it was because it was at the very end of the run.
What happened?
I thought you going like this.
What the hell was that? I was so dumbfounded. I was like, "Oh, it's like a big disc, right? It's like a big."
Yeah, so I guess like I watched a YouTube video to understand how these work. So like, you don't take the disc out of it.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing. This is two discs. So you take the they're taped together, so I don't lose them. But you put the whole thing. It's like a giant cartridge essentially.
Yeah.
You put the whole thing in the machine, and then the machine grabs the disc inside, and you pull it back out. And so it predated Laserdisc, and I guess it was like 1960 something that the RCA originally started it, but then they didn't really tweak it or perfect it until too late, really, when Laserdisc started coming out. So this got totally, it was like a dead technology by the time it came out, essentially. Wow. So there's a handful of titles. It's not like they have some other titles on there, but I guess this is one of the harder ones to find. So I'm like, this is kind of cool, and I might be a CED collector now. Got to find a player. I have no idea if it works or not, but
CED.
Yeah, CED.
It's like a gigantic 3.5-inch disc.
Yeah.
Right.
Capacitance electronic disc system is what it's called. But it basically plays like a record, like a vinyl record inside the machine. It's like like that. So
sweet.
This is kind of a fun thing where I found it at the Half Price Books, and I'm like, I thought it was just a vinyl record at first, and I was like, oh, maybe I want that. And then I realized what it was, and I'm sitting there on my phone Googling it, trying to understand what it is, because I had never heard of CEDs before. And so then I was like, this is coming home with me. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun to find those things that like you didn't know existed, right? And then it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
That's my thing for the week.
I didn't get anything too fancy. I got these Bad Batch pins from the Disney store.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they're kind of large.
They're kind of large.
That's
Great.
the description. And then EB Games had like a $5 Friday sale. This was originally $30, but for $5, it's a 6-inch tall. This is a pin. This is an enamel pin.
Cool.
It's ridiculous. Nobody would buy this at $30, but for $5, I'm like, I will drive there and pick it up. And it's got like 3. I don't even, where would you put this? I don't know. Backpack, something like that. So it was a pin type week.
Or a blank shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know, just that's it.
Huge weight on your shirt. I want to shout out real quick some people followed on Twitch recently. If you're watching right now, Serpent ZN, Abracalena, Marvelous Bricks, Kyle Volti. Thank you. I think you guys hopped on. Maybe if you're enjoying the Star Wars stream right now, thank you very much for being here. We have Toy Rensu, Wing or Lose, Tommy K. Tommy, I haven't forgotten about you. I have something to show from you for later. Terrence is having trouble with his keyboard. Great White North Empire. Mike is here. Tony Collector 10. How's it going? Gary, welcome back, Gary. Toy Malarkey, win or lose, my man with the butter emojis. Marcus Yee. I think I missed a lot in the chat, didn't I? Mackerson is here.
Mackerson.
Jason, he's also known as Work More or Less on Instagram. I did an unboxing with him last Thursday, and also Richie. It's been pretty awesome. That episode and everything going on this month. Paul's introductions just keep getting better and better. Kiss ass. Sorry, something in my throat there.
Not mine though.
No. Darth Gutierrez, welcome back. Welcome back. Good to have you here. And Fred, of course, Fred is in the house. Fred was awesome the other day. He got like six gifted subs on Twitch. So I don't know how that works, but shout outs to Fred. A huge
shout out for your 6 gifted subs, Fred. Great achievement.
Is there nobody there? Do they just claim it as they come to the channel? I don't know what's going on. I didn't clean up I haven't cleaned anything at all. That's probably how I stubbed my toe on the way in. Star Marvel 76. So I mentioned Tommy. Paul, you were away last, not away, you were on vacation last week, but you were also kind enough to join us. But since you had to leave early, we did not get a good screenshot of everybody for thumbnail for this week. So I used a screenshot from the episode. But Tommy was nice enough to offer up some screenshots or some thumbnails because and to keep it a surprise, I didn't actually use it. He's like, I think these would work well. So let's take a look. We have Mr. Kim eating the expired
ravioli. Didn't swallow one.
So not only did Tommy grab screenshots, put these photos up, he also put on the hats. He found the correct angle for the hat so that it would line with the direction of where you're looking.
Looks totally legit.
I don't know how well this would have worked as an actual
Keep zooming back. It gets better and better the further away you get from it. No, you zoom in. Zoom back.
That's it. No, there's more. We have this one. Popping the collar. Invisible collar.
No, that one he's just flexing. That's a flex. No invisible collar.
Anna says Tommy must have a ton of time on his hands. The thing is, he had these.
It was quick.
Sent to me like 10 minutes after the episode, after the stream ended. So he must have been
got
waiting.
them on file.
Yeah.
They're already all on file. He's been saving these for a while.
Jonathan says, I'm tuning in late and I don't know what I'm seeing. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. This is all part of the experience, my man. And
that's actually the cleanest one, I think.
Yeah.
Right there.
The most seamless with the hat?
Yeah.
I think so. And oh wait, that gets to the next.
He did that one too? Wow.
Oh, this one.
I was like, there was one more.
That's a good one.
That one freaks me out.
That one actually fits.
So thank you, Tommy. If anyone wants a copy of these, message Tommy. He'll send them to you.
8x10s are now in the Toying Around shop.
Oh my gosh. No, we need a licensing.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a cease and desist letter right there.
I don't need the CBC and Paul and Bitter Asian Dude coming after me. Paul, which one of those do you think we should have gone with for the thumbnail from Tommy?
Oh, it's the one with the best angle. So it's either the one where I'm in the suit going yo, bug-eyed, or the successful face one that freaks out Yoko.
I love that. I'm surprised. Okay, well, we'll let it occur naturally. The shout out for Tommy. Shout outs to everyone who's been checking out. This is the last thing, and then we're gonna get right to the show. This is the last week of 31 days of content.
What happened yesterday?
Oh, I forgot to update that. I put out a video for the model kit of the Darth Vader and the I didn't update it in there. But yeah, it's only
incomplete.
1, 2, 3, 5 more days left.
You only have 3 more days to fill. Why couldn't you just fill it?
Because it's in motion. It's all in motion. But I do want to say thank you, Paul and Yoko, for while doing the stream and making that part of this month and making it possible, and it's been
And for being
fun.
so supportive.
Yes, that too.
I knew you could do it.
But thank you both
You haven't
very
done it yet. You haven't gotten there yet.
Close.
I'm going to save my congratulations for next week.
For being a part of it so far. Okay, how about that?
Is that a threat or a promise?
It's no threats. No threats. The threat is like about season 2, if we're gonna re-sign the contracts.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're gonna have to do some negotiating.
okay, so this episode 13, Infested. That's my ESL coming out. Infested. I think I actually said that while I was typing it out, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. And I'm like, I'm not going to say that. And then I consciously said, Infested. Episode 13. We catch up with the gang. They finish another mission. And and again, I'll try to go through it chronologically, but feel free to jump in at any time. Episode 13. If you haven't watched it yet, spoilers ahead. If you don't mind, please grab a seat. Did you find it weird that they previously paid off their debt to Sid, and then they're still kind of doing this stuff? Are they just doing it for the credits? Do they not have a purpose in existence?
I think they're setting it up. I mean, they keep getting closer and closer with Sid as the series progresses. So I think that's Ord Mantell and Sid. That's a hub for them. I think that's where they're going to end up having their base of operations set up. This episode cemented that in my mind too. With that, just because Omega, who still doesn't have even a hat, and this is the first episode. Like, there's a big time jump. It seems there's a time jump between the last episode and this one, because they just wrapped up Hera's sort of origin stories, and now they're right back to doing jobs for Sid. Except their debt is paid off, but I mean, they still need to resupply. They still need fuel. They still need food and stuff like that.
Their trail mix.
Trail mix, that super expensive space trail mix that can lure space lizards places. A little bit of foreshadowing there. But it's just, I think they need a purpose, and so they're comfortable there. There's a certain level of anonymity, I guess, being based out of there. Although it does seem a bit dangerous that they keep going back to Ord Mantell, but it is near all these hyperspace lanes. So if they need to bug out someplace, they've got quick access to it, right? So
that's true. And you mentioned she still doesn't have a hat. Maybe Tommy can Photoshop a represent hat onto Omega.
Oh yeah,
for a future thumbnail. So the crew goes back to the bar, as you mentioned, and they notice that it's popping in here. It's a party. There's a lot more business than the regular 2 patrons from before, and they enter the office, and these dudes are inside, who more soldiers from this season that I would love to see in action figure form. Just generic goons and army builders is pretty cool. And you have
there are a lot of them around too. I mean, that's the thing. They just like on the streets, in the actual bar itself, and in the back room and stuff like that. And that was the one thing that, I mean, it's designed that way purposefully, right, for the audience to notice that, hey, there are all these armored figures, hanging around. And I turned to my wife and said, "Oh, look, all these guys play for the same team. Something's up. Something's up. The matching armor is always a sign of strength, right? It's not like a hodgepodge of mercenaries. Like, this is somebody's got a bankroll here, and they're making sure all the goons are dressed the same and look profesh." Right. And that was the other thing too, is like they walk in and all of a sudden Sid's place, which was deserted, absolutely not making it, nobody was going in there except for the 2 barflies. What's his name? Kirsch and Bolo. I think those are the only 2 regulars, and they're Sid's sort of henchmen. All of a sudden the place is hopping, which is interesting too, right? Like, they come in and go, "Oh, it's busy in here. What's going on?" I thought that was interesting.
Mm.
But we find out that this person decided they've taken over. We don't know what happened to Sid. He's like, "Hey, if you want to come work for me, you have that option." But the Bad Batch ends up leaving. and they're like, oh, what should we do about Sid? We got to get off this planet. She's waiting for them. She's like, oh, it's nice that somebody's thinking of me. It was just Omega. She's literally like almost like the conscience and the heart at the same time for the team. Those guys are just, I feel like they're just more, they're soldiers. They're clones made for battle, I guess.
They're dudes is what they are.
Okay.
Yeah. Did this strike you as being funny too? It's like it was a bloodless coup. I mean, they're talking about what happened to Sid. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
She's just gone. And like she was taken out. Like either she's left or she's dead type thing. And she's there. And it's like, is it that easy to take over Sid's business? Because does she not have any other muscle other than the Bad Batch? Like how has she stayed in that position for so long without any sort of muscle to back it up if she's just got Ketch and Bolo as their two stooges? I mean, yeah, no wonder Roland just sort of rolled in there and said, okay, it's mine now. I've got all these guys, get out. And that's all. It was like shaking a broom at her and like sort of like chasing her off, it seemed.
There was a second there when he's sitting in his chair and he has a Ruby, right? Where I thought it was Sid's head for a second. And I was oh my God. And then I realized it was not.
That kind of would have been really awesome, actually. It's just like
there's no way that would happen, but it would be
for a second. That's what I thought I was seeing.
Jonathan said, "What is Yoko's unsupportive side like? Feel free to refer to Bad Batch Case of the Mondays episodes 1 through 9."
Wow.
To be fair, you kind of earned that though. You kept dropping the ball with the intros.
I do work hard. I don't want anything handed to me. That's for sure.
I can't say anything.
Oh, now you're put in this position where it's like, oh, I can't say anything.
Well, I'm still trying to be nice to you, so.
All right. So they have a plan. Sid essentially blackmails the team. She's like, you guys got to help me out. We're going to steal the spice that I have in the back office. And Roland is supposed to have a deal with the Pikes. She wants the Bad Batch to help her steal the stuff, ruin the whole deal.
Can you move your mouse? I was trying to move mine on my screen.
It's like, yeah, it's in her nose. Pick her nose.
And then she essentially is blackmailing them to help her.
But you know what? It's she and Omega. They sort of double team the Bad Batch because it's like, I'm gonna blackmail you, and then there's the emotional blackmail that Omega throws on him. It's like, well, when we were in trouble, we went, she helped us. It's like, not really, because she kind of made them do a lot for her help. It wasn't this unconditional help, which is what the Bad Batch is doing for her, right? And I thought that was an interesting thing, and it really bugged me that Sid was able to, like, they left their ship completely unguarded. Like maybe she picked the lock or whatever, but it just seemed like so easy. She's just standing in the doorway of their ship.
Yeah,
it's like this is a crack military unit, and they don't. First of all, they don't give the kid a helmet or a hat. Second of all, they don't lock the doors of the car. You got to lock your doors. Ord Mantell isn't the nicest place. Some people will steal your stuff.
Yeah, you have bounty hunters after you.
Yeah, it kind of seems they seem really.
Maybe
sloppy.
she has like the code or whatever. Since
yeah, I know, but it just seemed a little bit
helping.
too. Just a little too easy.
I agree.
Sid.
That's all I want to complain about. That's it. I'm the complainer.
Sid is her own muscle. Did you see her push that car?
I thought that too.
And new nicknames. She got new nicknames for everybody too, right? She's calling Omega Tiny. Wrecker's got 2. He's like muscles big and big guy.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Her naming skills are about as good as mine with Unboxing Thursdays, which is literally just Unboxing Thursdays. So you know what? I kind of like Sid a little bit more now.
I mean, you know who she's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know what you're tuning into on Thursday.
Usually.
Usually. Sometimes I forget to open the toys.
Yeah, sometimes you just talk.
Last week I
Talking
think we
through
were chatting for like an hour, and then I saw a message on my phone from Kyle. He's just like, "When are we getting to the toys?" He was watching live, and he was heckling me from. I looked down and it was on my phone. This guy, Kyle. One of the things that I noticed here was what was Sid leaving out? You know how she's always sending them on missions with like, I don't know, 60% of the info, and something always goes wrong. I had this bad feeling like she's leaving something out here. After the beginning of this episode, the first line or the first scene was just like, oh, it would have been nice if she told us the mission was there's like in a hot zone with all these
Gundarks.
You had a bad feeling?
Gundarks.
Really?
Gundark.
Really? You had a bad feeling?
So exactly. So I thought there was more to this. It turns out there really wasn't. She was just pushed out of her business. I guess it's a business. The operation. So their plan is they have to travel through an underground series of tunnels to reach the unknown trapdoor in her office to steal this spice. Without Roland knowing, they have to travel through these tunnels in the dark, not making any sound. And they look down with the flashlight. This reminds me of the Mines of Moria again from Lord of the Rings. And of course, some stupid guy knocks something and drops it down into the hole and makes a whole bunch of sound. It's the same. It's kind of the same deal, right? It was Wrecker and Pippin, I think. Pip that knocked everything down. That dead guy's armor. So it had that kind of vibe for me. I don't know if anyone else noticed that as well. What's this next screenshot? Oh yeah, that's a better look at it. Is that better?
Yep. Ish. Once you zoom in, all the way in. There you go. Now you can see something. There's the track.
So they have to keep quiet. They can't use the engines or anything. The motors. It's got to be the old-timey railroad cart where like one guy's on the other side and the other one, and they just have to go up, down. I don't know what that's called. Let's see. Toy Rensu says, do those things not go out at night? That's a good question. If they're scared of the light, shouldn't they be flying around all over Ord Mantell at nighttime?
Yeah, they're mentioned as being tech called Goggles calls them. He says that they're nocturnal, right? So makes sense.
Let's see. Reptiles aren't known for their creativity, says Crypt Keeper. So the decoy to get the bad guys out of the bar is this dude is going to eat some Mantell mix, leave a trail of it. It's an elaborate scheme, but it's nice to see Mantell mix make its way back onto the screen. At which point the Bad Batch are able to enter the office, steal the spice. Amish Ace, what's going on? He says, hello, my Bad Batch buddies. Welcome back. If people are watching on Twitch, that's a great channel for more Lego building. I don't know if, Paul, if you still go back to Twitch once in a while.
You've got Twitchception going here.
Oh, nice. I was just going to do a shout out for him right there. Oh, now it's my wallpaper.
I'll do it for you.
Now the window's locked into the side.
I'll do it for you.
This is what happens when I try to do new stuff. Oh, there we go. Like nothing happened at all. So he's like a huge Star Wars fan and like builds Lego and does really, really awesome stuff and a great setup on his Twitch. So Paul, give it a shot one time. Yeah. There we go. Thanks for stopping by. So they steal the spice. They have to make the getaway, and obviously the bad guys don't know. You got to stay quiet. If I zoom in like this, oh, here we go. And the detail in this episode in the underground cavern areas was pretty fantastic.
Did this remind you of something? It reminded me of something, but I could. Is that what it reminds me of?
Yeah, the Temple of Doom. That whole mine car chase underneath, is very reminiscent of that. Especially like the bad guys hitting another cart and getting spilled out. Over the sides and carts falling off the rails. Yeah.
Yeah. Gary says totally Temple of Doom. And of course, the blaster fire sets off all this noise and explosions, and all of the Earlings, they start flying up. It's crazy. It really is. It lives up to the title of this episode, Infested. Like, just imagine standing in the middle of that. So the bad guys,
Nope.
yeah, the bad guys, they're swarmed. Everyone is swarmed. There's blaster fire. The guts are all green and really juicy when you squash them like bugs. It's really gross. Like, look at the size of this. It's like a huge. I don't know what kind of bug this is, but it was really gross though.
Gross one, yeah.
I'm surprised they showed this, that once the door closed on one of them and he was severed in half, they kind of panned down and showed this carcass at the bottom.
Yeah, womp womp.
And it's twitching. Like it twitches.
Yeah, and I'm like, I guess it's okay for them to show creatures getting killed like this, but obviously
Gross
characters, if they get limbs dismembered and whatnot, they can't show that. But
no, they can get shot in the face and then thrown off a moving vehicle and have them bounce off a cliff, and that's okay.
Yeah, you have to infer that. But for this, they'll be like, oh, look at his body. He's just still dead.
Yeah.
So now the Pikes are here. They want their spice. They had a deal from with Roland. And Roland did the smart thing. He kind of flipped it back. He's like, I don't know how the Pikes they accept that. He's just like, oh, Sid took it. She has it now. I thought they would have just killed him on the spot, but they get back to the bar, and all of those people in the bar having a good time are just dead. Just dead. And then there's a showdown, and they're about to fight when Sid suggests, you know what, I'll go get the spice for you. We don't want any problems with you. But the terms of the deal is, of course, for TV's sake, it's like, but we get the kid until you bring it back. And I can't believe that they would even go for that. I feel like they could have just killed them all right there. But then Sid was like, you don't want them on your tail coming after you. Paul, what did you think about them leaving Omega behind?
Well, it kind of, par for the course, right? Of course they're going to use her as leverage, right? They should just change her name from Omega to the the girl hostage. It made sense to me. They had the most leverage. They're very protective of her. Story-wise, it makes sense for them that gives them the motivation really to go out and retrieve the spice. So I totally expected that. I really was surprised at how easily they just sort of went, okay, then we'll do it. You hold on to it and we'll do it. But I guess, with Sid saying, you trust me, you don't want these guys on your, to be chasing you around. I guess they have enough problems. So, and they didn't know where the spice was. And so I guess it wasn't as dangerous, even though they weren't happy about it. Tactically, that made a lot more sense than shooting it out with the Pikes and then being on the run yet again. So
that's true. They did show where the containers of spice landed inside the caverns.
I loved this moment though when they all drew their guns out, because you can expect that from maybe Hunter and Wrecker, but you don't always see that side of Tech, especially. I think being protective or fond of Omega, really. So I thought it was a cute moment to see, like, oh, they all love her.
Well, she's part of the team now. Remember, she's one of them.
I know that, but I'm just saying you don't see that from those two characters in particular, Echo and Tech. You don't see their affection for her as much as the other two. So I thought it was cute that all four of them.
Well, it definitely seems like they're trying to build Sid into a more a more three-dimensional character, as opposed to someone who's just in the underbelly of the crime world, putting out contracts and stuff, because she offers. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna go down with Wrecker. We're gonna rappel down into the caverns, and I'll get the spice because I got Omega into this. I'll get her out of it. I thought that was pretty noble, and I'm surprised. From the beginning, I thought there was some trick here where there was some kind of plot twist. She didn't tell the team, but she's like, no, this was it, and I'm gonna go and she feels responsible, so she's gonna go. And of course, Omega stood up for her when this first happened. She's like, hey, Sid was there for us when we were in trouble, so I guess she felt like she owed it to Omega as well. I thought that was a side of of Sid that I wasn't expecting.
Well, they've been building up their relationship for the last couple of episodes, though, right? Like when Omega got left behind, and Sid saw that she was very adept at playing that game, and sort of they kind of bonded there, right? And so slowly but surely, and that's what leads me to believe that Sid's palace is going to be their hub, their base of operations on Ord Mantell.
Yes. Is it Darth Gutierrez says, is it still too early in the timeline for Maul to be in control of the Pikes? So after season 7, he was still on the run, right? He just stole that ship and he escaped from the ship with Ahsoka, Rex, and all the clones. I don't know if this is far ahead enough where he's in control of it. Paul, you have any idea?
Yeah, I think you're right, because last time we saw him was in season 7 of Clone Wars, and he was jetting off. I don't think it was the Pikes. I don't think not yet. I think later on. I think it's in Rebels, right? That he takes over, that he's in charge of the syndicate.
Right.
So, and that's still a number of years away. So, this is pre Darth Maul being in charge of the Pike Syndicate.
Captain Wrecked? No, he was talking to them on Mandalore, so he could be possible with Crimson Dawn. I want to see more of that Darth Maul from the end of the Solo movie. What a tease. That was a big tease.
But they're setting up Solo 2, which they then shelved. Right?
Yeah.
One day. So they rappel down, they retrieve the spice, and of course, on the very last... Oh, this part was weird, because he stepped down, and then there was... When Wrecker first steps onto the surface, and there was like a slight squishy sound, and there's a little bit of give on the ground. I thought it was either setting up a whole bunch of vibrations or movements in some sort of web, and there's like some sort of spider creature comes out, or they're inside another creature, but that's... I feel like I would have been reaching at that point to try and find something. But clearly and gladly, that wasn't the case. They were able to retrieve all the spice. On the last batch of spice, they make a lot of noise. Sid knocks into this thing, and of course, everything flies up. Luckily, Tech was already working on a device. These creatures are sensitive to light, so he throws down some sort of light grenade. That drives all of the creatures out of the cave away from those two. They're able to retrieve the spice. There's a failed screenshot. And they return it. They return it to the Pikes. The Pikes have their own branding on their blocks of spice. I think it's really cool. And they decided not to kill Roland. Omega, the heart of the team. He's like, you can't kill him. And Sid convinces them, said, you don't want to start with Roland's family and another crime syndicate. So they decide to just, I guess, shame him and take off one of Roland's horns. And Yoko, do you think they're going to do more with this guy? For a moment, I felt like he was going to join the team, like they were going to ask him to join. I don't know. What did you think of this scene?
I feel like they leave that open-ended, right, so that he could. As soon as they didn't kill him, I feel like that means, he's probably going to come back at some point. Who knows when? But wait, no, my question is, did you not have any screenshots of Ruby in this whole thing?
No. Did you want one?
Yeah. I want to talk about how cute it was.
See, I didn't feel like that was important to the plot.
It's not important to the story? But that was the whole reason why Omega wanted to help him, was because I think she figured Ruby liked him, so he must not be a bad guy.
Yeah, that was the flimsiest of reasonings, and therefore...
I don't think so. You're not an animal person, are you?
If an animal likes this guy, therefore that's why she saved. I mean, it makes sense. Like to a kid, that probably makes sense. I didn't feel like it was.
It makes sense to an adult.
That's fair. Yoko unsupportive side alert.
Look, I'm not the unsupportive one. I throw out ideas, and Kevin's always like, "You're dumb."
Oh, whoa! Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. Yeah, next time let me know. You're like, please make sure to have screenshots of.
I mean, I just thought, I would have faith that you would, find a screenshot in there along the way.
No, I didn't think that was. That was, yeah. It honestly seemed to be just like, oh, she's just gonna. Because Hunter says, "Why did you save him?" She's like, "Oh, that's the reason." Oh, okay, roll the credits. That was it. It wasn't. I don't know, Paul. I know how you're like. I don't like to call anything a filler episode. This is probably the closest you can get. The saving grace is like, oh, you have character development for Sid.
Yeah, it's world building though. It's all world building, and they're setting. I mean, they're setting up possible returns, like of the Devon of Roland for season 2 onwards. And that's the thing. You have to have a long game in mind when you're creating a series like this, right? And you're laying foundations for a lot of things. And I know everybody wants to see what happens with Crosshair or this or that, but that might not get resolved in one season. If they resolve all that right away, then you have no show, right? They need to be hunted down. There needs to be a prolonged sort of thing, and it's a fine balancing act between giving the fans and the viewers what they want in terms of forward momentum on story versus creating a world and making it sustainable for a long game. And it's a delicate balance. And yeah, it does bug me when people go, filler episode, filler. It's like, there's nothing, was there nothing redeeming about it? Like you said, yeah, character development is not filler. For me, it's not filler. It can't be filler. Does the story, the main sort of arc, continue on? Well, no. Okay, but it's not going to. I mean, you were fine with Harrison Dula's origin story. Nobody was screaming filler for that. And for me, that's the definition of filler. Like, yeah, takes away. That's not a Bad Batch story. No. That's a Harrison Dula story. But nobody's complaining about that. So all of a sudden, and that's the thing, right? It's what kinds of stories are being told in this episode, what is happening in this episode. The Harrison Dula thing, that's absolutely world building for another show, even, right? But nobody was really complaining about that. So I don't know. I think, yeah, there was stuff in this episode that didn't really truly advance the story, but you're setting up the fact that there is going to be a base of operations on Ord Mantell, that Sid is going to be more heavily invested in the Bad Batch, not just using them in a mercenary way, that she does have connections with other information gathering services and will be a really valuable part of their team. So,
information gathering services. That should be her company name.
Oh, I think.
Gary says, I wondered whether they were setting up a connection with Vizago from Star Wars Rebels. And the next comment was because Vizago was the leader of the Broken Horn Syndicate on Lothal. I have to defer to Gary. I only watched Rebels once, so it's not something that I watch over and over and remember, study everything. But someone
that's why I suggested we do a Rebels rewatch party, and you were like, dumb idea.
My God. Is anyone in the chat right now, or anyone watching this, and you're watching Bad Batch and you haven't seen Rebels, let me know. How did you feel about 2 random episodes for a character who you may have heard the name of and people talk about, but you're not really invested in because you haven't watched Rebels, in Harrison Dula, and having 2 episodes dedicated to that character's development, and only the Bad Batch making brief appearances. I think I'm interested to see that perspective. I can't imagine what it would be like, because I thought it was really cool. Again, devil's advocate, is it filler or character development? It was definitely the epitome of character development, that arc. Shout outs to Darth Gutierrez, thank you for the super chat. He says, "My bad. I should have asked if Maul was still in control of the Black Sun Pikes, etc. By the way, I'm vegan for animals." Thank you for the super chat. And cool. Still in control. Was he in control of that much stuff? I don't recall, but
I don't remember.
Yeah, again, if it's what Gary says is kind of what they're doing, laying foundation for other tie-ins and connections, that would be really cool. And that was this episode. Paul, Yoko, we kind of addressed it. It's not really. It wasn't the most exciting episode, that's for sure.
When we're getting towards the end, I was like, this felt like a long episode. Was this a supersized episode? And I was totally thinking it was like a 40-minute episode or something, but no, it was normal. So I don't know if that meant I was bored, a little bored, but it felt long to me and not particularly memorable. But
yeah,
I look forward to the next 3.
Hopefully it turns around there. Paul, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, again, the episode was the episode. It was. I refuse to say filler, but it was a lot of character development. No, again, it did sort of. It expanded on. I think they're setting something up. They're setting something up for later seasons. And I think a lot of people, of course, I think season 1's gonna end with a big ass cliffhanger. No one's gonna get a lot of like closure on what's going on. I think that's the plan right there, and they need to set up all the chess pieces on the board, so to speak, to set up a chain of events. I think the next 3 episodes are gonna really kick into high gear on that, and I think this is just the pause before the storm, before the sprint really sort of happens. That being said, I watched it and I was like, okay. It was I enjoyed it, but it didn't I didn't flip out over and go, oh my god, that was so fantastic. It was I think it was a solid episode, but again, it didn't really turn my crank. And I think I kind of dozed off the first watching through it. I mean, I was tired, so I was just like, okay. And I think I dozed off for bits of it, to be honest.
Right.
So
yeah, it might be.
It felt long. I was genuinely surprised that it was a normal length. I was like, so I remember there was a couple of points throughout the episode where I'm like, oh, it must end here as a cliffhanger. It must end here, not really a cliffhanger, but whatever. But then it kept going, and I was like, man, this must be long. But genuinely surprised that it was normal.
Captain Wrecked says, I was meh on Rebels.
Wrecked
until the Kanan cameo, so I rewatched Rebels again, and it was better the second time around. And I guess that's a cool byproduct of that, right? It'll maybe encourage somebody to go and watch some of the previous stuff that they don't know about, and get them to backtrack and go back to those stories. Winger Lou says character development is the new. This episode has a nice personality. Oh, this guy. So 3 episodes left. Paul thinks there's going to be a big cliffhanger. We don't even know for sure yet if there's a season 2. Hopefully there is. Yoko, what do you think? What theories do you have for us for the end of this season?
What theories do I have?
Yeah.
Specific to the Bad Batch or in general?
Specific to the,
I'm kidding,
the Bad Batch. Please be specific.
I don't really have any specific theories. I do. My theory was that what was my theory? My theory is that this is actually setting up Book of Boba Fett. Maybe maybe not directly, but I think it's kind of going to end up being like a prequel to Book of Boba Fett. That's what I'm thinking. I hope we see Ahsoka in one of these last 3 episodes, but I'm not holding my breath. But yeah, I saw some people mention like Hondo in the comments. I would love to see Hondo again. He's always fun. I love the intersection of shows and everything, so I'm all for it.
Paul, any predictions?
Anything I said, Kev?
Yes, cross.
Kev's fussing around with his stuff. I don't know.
I have to make sure I don't make the wrong window again.
Yeah,
Paul,
no,
do you
I mean, the last we've got 3 episodes left. I think it's a pretty solid bet that they're going to continue on with this episode, with this series. I think there's going to be a season 2 at the very least, and so that's why I think
Mhm.
they're laying down the groundwork for that. Um, I don't think anybody's going to get the resolution that they're hoping for. I think there will be forward momentum on these stories. I think something big will happen, more than likely to Omega. I'm hoping she doesn't get kidnapped or she doesn't get captured yet again, because that would just be a little bit too easy and a little bit too predictable. But I have a
Mhm.
feeling something's going to happen. Something big's going to happen, and I think it'll be a game changer. I'm hoping it'll be a game changer and it'll really sort of like propel this series into overdrive because they've been very patient in terms of laying down that foundation, and then they're going to start. My hope is that they'll start taking bigger risks,
Mhm.
and the end of season 1 will be that blast off point. Where you will have this great sort of intersection, and Lucasfilm seems to be in love with this idea too, like from the MCU, like taking a page from the MCU, where you have all these different characters sort of converging at one point and
Mhm.
intertwining. I think there's something inherently cool about that kind of storytelling and world building when you see the threads sort of connecting. Sometimes it's messy because older shows weren't meant necessarily to connect with the newer shows,
Mhm.
but I think, and there's certain amount of retconning that has to happen for that to sort of succeed or be seamless. But I think this is something that they're absolutely going for. That's my gut feeling, and we'll see all those tie-ins, because then why bring in Hera? Why bring in Kanan? Why do that and have all these locations? They're setting something up, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to go to watch.
Jason brings up a cool point. Are we going to see more about how the empire develops and changes? I mean, the big theme from this season is the empire going to go with clones or stormtroopers? We obviously know the answer, but is it going to wrap up that quickly? Where they
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in. I think there's going to be a clone uprising. I think that's
Ooh.
something that has been touched on in the expanded universe and
Ooh.
in the video games, but I think they're laying down a foundation for that. Captain Hauser, all these
Mhm.
different elements are starting
Hauser.
to come together. Yeah, so I think
Poor Hauser.
that's what's going to happen. And will it be Omega that is sort of the linchpin, the thing, the spark that
The
starts it all?
Katniss.
Yeah. So
She's Katniss.
I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, that's exciting. That got me excited. I'm sold.
I like that. I like that theory, Paul.
Yeah.
I think Win or Lose mentioned maybe they do a 3-episode story arc for the finale. That would be cool. I think season 7 was like a 2-part.
It was 3 arcs, right?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the final part,
Yeah.
maybe they continue on that theme. That would be cool.
Yeah.
IMDb only has the name for 1 episode for 14, War Mantle. So nothing for 15 or 16. So I guess it's a little early to say. We have Detour Customs. What's going on? Welcome. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Butter Nation. And Cowl and Cape, thank you for joining us over on Twitch. Welcome. We are just finishing up this recap of the episode of The Bad Batch, episode 13. And Paul,
I do hope we learn more about Hauser. I am sorry, I was thinking about that. I almost forgot.
Yes,
I can't believe I forgot. I want to know more about him.
Is it something about like we just want so much from each episode that if another one comes out, we're so focused on what we didn't get, we kind of forget some of the different stories in the back? Because like the Hauser line, that was huge that week when that episode came out, or those 2 episodes came out, and that was part of the Hera thing. I think it was overshadowed. If anything,
I think we're being spoiled. I think that's what it is you get spoiled and you get so used to like excellent storytelling and all this stuff that when you get something that doesn't keep upping the ante, we get spoiled. Filler. That was unenjoyable. Right?
You know what I've missed though, and I think it was even in this episode, even though it was back to Bad Batch, is like there wasn't a lot of interaction between the guys, right? Like there's not a lot of conversation going on there between them, and I miss their interaction amongst each other. And we haven't. That's at least 3 weeks now that we really haven't gotten much of that.
There was, I want to point out there was the sound mix when they're retrieving the spice and Wrecker is on that cable and the Earlings come up. His shrieks of terror
Yeah.
delighted me to no end. He was like, I thought he was being murdered. Like the way he was squealing, I thought they're ripping chunks of flesh off of him.
Right.
He's like being eaten alive, and he's like, ah! It was just fantastic. And I love that they're building in the fact that he has a fear of heights.
Yeah.
He does not like heights, and I can totally relate with that because I hate heights,
Mm.
but he still does it. That's what I love too, right? And it's great because Wrecker, I've said this before, he was my least favorite member of the Bad Batch
Right.
early on, and now he's getting right up there. He's getting to be one of my favorites just because he shows the most sort of he's the most vulnerable, like he's the most expressive in terms of his fears and doubts and stuff, and that's what I like about him. The vulnerability of that character, even though he's a big sort of strong guy,
Right.
I do enjoy that. I do enjoy that.
I remember that part because I think you hear through the comms him screaming, right?
Yeah.
And it's right after it's just Sid very calmly saying something, and I'm just like, okay. Because at first I'm like, I wasn't sure who was screaming, but then she follows up with like she's just whispering. And I'm like, oh, okay, that was Wrecker, and you can just picture stuff flying around him, and he's just maybe like a muffled scream inside his helmet, like trying not to let it out. But you still hear it through the comms, so that part was a really great sound. I gotta actually, you know what? I want to go back and find that one part.
It's great. Like listen to the audio. Like the sound design on that is spectacular. And it's because it's going on in the background. They go, what's going on? And you can hear the hive going at the same time. The blind firing, like he's just totally panic firing at everything. Like I'm surprised he didn't shoot Sid by accident. The way he was just sort of blasting away, right? So
that's how Sid goes.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Well, I'm glad he wasn't holding her head like I thought.
Oh my gosh.
Not Wrecker. I forget his name. One horn dude.
Roland.
Roland?
Yeah.
Roland.
Roland.
His name is Roland.
Yeah, he's a scary mob guy. Roland.
That's such like a
No disrespect to all the Rolands out there.
Roland Durand.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is his name. You know what I like too is the fact that he's just kind of like when he's bonding with, and I think that's Omega's secret power, is she can connect with anybody. Like she's got that empathetic sort of side where she listens and people open up to her. She makes a connection with Sid. Omega makes a connection with Fennec Shand, with Ruby the Lizard, with Deveronian guy. Like she connects, and that's what I kind of liked about that scene where he's talking about his mom. He's like, my mother always says, just if you want something, just take it. That's the way it's always been. And there's a heaviness to him when he's talking about his mom. It almost makes me feel like he doesn't want to do this. He's just doing it because his parents.
I don't think he does.
Right. And the fact that he values this lizard more than anything else, and that's what wins him over to Omega. It's like, oh look, Ruby likes you. She doesn't like a lot of people, and they sort of connect. And then there's Omega with saying, don't kill him. He just made a mistake. That's just putting herself on the line there to sort of save him. It's incredible. And that's Omega was kind of annoying for me at the beginning, I will admit. And I was kind of hoping that they'll never give her. That's why I talk about her not having a hat or a helmet. Now I'm starting to really care for her. But it is that whole, you're right. She's the heart of the Bad Batch. She's the conscience.
And it's going to cost her.
Oh, yeah.
At some point.
Oh, yeah.
But that Roland guy, he doesn't seem to, you're right. He doesn't seem to really care that much. He's just like, well, that failed, maybe onto something else. Not even like, I almost just died. I failed this and that. He was just, okay, well, I guess that's it. He just kind of dusted himself off and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, his line after they cut off his nose, like, well, it's a small price to pay.
Yeah. It's like an acceptable business cost.
Yeah. But it's too, because he doesn't take it personally. He's not like, oh, my honor, like the horror. He doesn't like I shall get my revenge. He's like, well, I'm lucky to be alive. So I'm just gonna move on now. He's like, he's so chill about it.
Exactly.
He could have cut his head off. And he's like, well, it's a horn. What are you gonna do?
Tomorrow's another day.
I got my lizard. Bye. He just goes.
I am a huge fan of this clone uprising
But you're gonna see it, lizards.
possibility. Captain Ruck.
It's got to happen because they have to remove the clones, and I think that's something that is just, it's too big, and it's from the first episode they're setting it up, the replacement of the clones. Tarkin doesn't trust them, but they want to use them to a certain point, right? Like that's the thing that's dancing all around it, right? Omega, that's why she's so important, because she's got pure genetic material in her, and the Kaminoans have high stakes. They can't afford to lose this sort of contract. And they're setting up, and there are no clones around during the original trilogy, or very few of them. None of them are featured, right? So the Galactic Empire has thousands and thousands of troops. So what happened to all the clones?
Right.
And so I think that's going to be that's something that's really, really sort of been under the radar, except in the expanded universe.
But it's kind of hovering there, right? Waiting for. It's kind of. It's just kind of. There are these things that we know have to happen at some point, and then we just don't know when. Like we're talking about Hera's mother, right? About what happens to her, and like there's all these, and I think that's kind of what makes. I mean, it's sad, but also exciting because like we actually don't. We know what's going to happen, but we don't know how it's going to happen, and that that's the adventure that we're on, I guess, right?
It's like when we were watching Rogue One. It's like you knew they were all going to be dead.
Yeah,
you knew it, but you wanted to see.
Oh, that still surprised some people I saw.
Really?
It's cool. It's cool. They kind of like leave these threads out there, and then someone can pick it up later on and write the story for it, like Black Widow, the Budapest line.
I have not seen it.
Oh, okay.
No spoilers.
No, this is just
I have not watched Black Window yet. So
Blank Window. And what other stuff was there? Well, you know what? We'll just keep it quiet about that. It's been a while, Paul.
I know. I want to. It's on premium. I'm not going back to the movie theaters anytime soon, just because of time and stuff. And so, like, I want to rent it or like download like through Disney Plus Premium. But it's just finding a night where we can all sit down and watch it, because we've got to watch it as a family. Right,
and then you have to watch my theory video.
Yeah, no, and that's part of the reason why I want to watch it too. Because I'm like, what is this about? Little Pony is attached to somehow, and I want to know. So.
Another one of my ideas Kevin thinks is stupid.
Again,
Kevin,
not my words.
I think in this case it was your words.
I'm hoping this giant mug will cover up my expression. You know what? SDCC week. A lot of announcements and toys. This one specifically related to the Bad Batch. There's a Mission Fleet set coming out.
Aww.
I don't know. It's cool. You get the whole squad in one, and Echo has like robot hands. So I'm gonna.
Is that a spoiler?
I don't know what his
that
hands
gigantic do. Like claw that he has.
It's one of his many Inspector Gadget attachments that he has. But both of you being collectors, and I think some people in the chat are as well. Yoko, did you pre-order anything from SDCC?
I didn't pre-order anything.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can't tell from your reaction.
Well, I can't either. No, the only money I spent was with my own employer, drinking my own Kool-Aid yet again. No, I didn't. Between the announcements and actual exclusives, this is my cheapest SDCC ever. Just like there were a lot of cool things, but nothing was quite up my alley. Like all those new Star Wars figures that were announced too, and like a lot of the pre-orders that went up. Like I love that they exist. They're just not for me, So right. I didn't get anything.
Oh, well.
I guess it's good, but then I'm also a little bit sad that I don't have anything cool coming. But
There's
always next week.
Yeah, you know what? I thought it was done, and then something today from Mezco. But Paul, did you pre-order anything?
I pre-ordered because there was Sideshow had their con going in and had a bunch of pre-orders open for like there's a deluxe book of Boba Fett, basically what him sitting on Jabba's old throne with the repainted armor. So I was like, okay. So I pre-ordered that. I'm sure there's other things that I pre-ordered that I've completely forgotten about that I'll order twice.
Oh, no. From Hot
No
Toys?
comment. No comment.
Oh no, so the EFX Mandalorian season 2 helmet. I put a pre-order on that. That's EFX is a company that I've long admired, but I haven't pulled the trigger on buying one of their buckets. And so I saw they had a Mando helmet, so I thought, okay, I'd love to see a comparison between them and Novos. So I did do that. But I haven't looked at a lot of the SDC stuff.
So stupid. Terrence. They just go through a list of commands. Yeah, what was it about? Like ordering kill the clones? I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a comment up ahead previously, but order 67. That's all. Oh, no, Jason said, yeah, I think it may start with the uprising and then some order 66 equivalent to clear the way. Oh boy.
So it's easy. You just sorry. You just have all the.
It's dark. Very dark. I don't like it.
You just have all the chips explode in their heads.
Right?
Oh man, like
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, just short them out. I mean, they've got so if they have an inhibitor chip placed there to control their mind waves.
Yeah.
Why not just use to scramble their minds then too, right? Like just
or shut them down.
Yeah. So
for sure. SDCC. The thing about SDCC for me was like the stuff that was available, readily available in convention stuff. There wasn't that much that I wanted, but like reveals and things coming out was really cool.
What stood out for you?
For reveals?
Yeah.
I
missed all those announcements, so I'm living vicariously through you.
One of the coolest things was this Mezco Joker, but the surprise part was that
pants come off.
No, that's no surprise. Pants surprise Joker. The surprise was it was available today for pre-order.
Yeah.
So they're like, and then not only that, it said shipping in August, so it's really really soon. And Terrence was saying, you know what, it makes you think, was this an SDCC item that they were going to have, since it's a Mezco Con exclusive or Mezco exclusive. So it was like, do you think they had all of these ready to go for SDCC? It didn't happen, so now it's
got delayed. That's highly possible. Like the shipping delays have been ridiculous, like industry wide. Everything's taking so much longer to get through. And even once they're having trouble finding boats or containers and boats, and then once the boats get here, it's just taking longer to like clear customs. Like everything is taking so much longer than it has. Wow. So I think that's a very good possibility that especially if something is going to be here in August.
Yeah,
and probably did just miss Comic-Con.
So I mean, that was my thing. I sold a bunch of stuff and I wanted to buy some new toys, and I didn't want to spend money for a pre-order and wait like a year or something like that. So when this came out, I had to get it anyway because I pre-ordered the Batman. This is coming out before the Batman that pairs with this from the Gotham by Gaslight.
Right.
And then so hopefully some people said they got their shipping notifications today, so hopefully I get mine soon. And I bought that, and I bought this other set from Mezco. That was it. It's like a James Bond theme character.
La Cucaracha. What did that say?
Casino La Cucaracha.
Cucaracha. High roller box.
The Mezco logo, or I guess the mascot, is a cockroach.
Okay.
So it's their like original character, but they have all these different themes that they put him in. So this one, he's like a secret agent, James Bond kind of deal.
Right.
He comes in like a white tux. This is all 1/12 scale, and then the convention set comes with all this other stuff. That's pretty much the two things that I ordered, and that was it. was happy to keep some of my
I don't
hard-earned.
like cockroaches.
Oh, I like to say cucaracha.
Did you not get that Wolverine? The Mondo Wolverine?
No,
You didn't?
and
I'm surprised.
it's too much money to sit in the box. Paul, did you watch X-Men the animated series?
No, but I know of it, and I know some people who voiced it.
Yes.
So
I didn't know that they were like all Canadian essentially, and apparently it was cheaper to come up here and hire voice actors. So like, I think almost every voice actor on X-Men TAS are Canadian.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
It is. I think the Infinity Equation had Cal Dodd on their podcast, who was the voice of Wolverine, and he was just talking about stuff like that. It was really awesome to find out. To find out. There you go, Marcus. Thank you. He says, Kevin, say about.
I was laughing about that.
Is that what I said? Dang it. But there's this meme where it's like there's a scene from the episode from the series where Wolverine's laying in bed in his full tiger stripe outfit, and he's holding a frame, and he's just kind of like pining over Jean. It's a picture of Jean and Cyclops in a frame, and that's usually like a common meme that people use. And they actually made the packaging for their Wolverine figure of him laying in bed holding, and the picture frame is an actual prop. So I mean, that's $200 for the convention exclusive for that version.
Oh, that was $200?
Something like that, yeah. And
I didn't realize that. Wow.
But it's also 1/6 scale, if that helps. Yoko's thinking about it. It doesn't.
How does that compare to an Ultimate?
I don't know. And I think that's about it. Anything else you guys want to bring up, Paul? Yoko? Star Wars related?
Oh, there must be. There were so many Star Wars reveals, though. I don't know how they managed to like reveal a bunch of things I didn't want. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like the Clone Wars vintage stuff was really cool. I'm blanking on what else there was. There was a bunch of cool stuff, though.
Yeah,
well,
it's funny. I didn't. I don't collect a lot of the vintage collection stuff.
Yeah.
Through the 3.75, I just don't have a ton of room for it, and I was getting into Black Series stuff, but even then I'm backing off on that. I mean, they're re-releasing some of the carbonized.
Oh yeah, those
Black
ones.
Series figures, which is kind of cool, but it's like I don't know. I'm still deeply down the Hot Toys rabbit hole. I'm enjoying a lot more.
Yeah.
It just seems a little bit more sustainable. I saw like there's a lot of stuff about He-Man that's out, like a ton of He-Man.
Oh, did you check out the new show yet?
No, not yet. I never watched He-Man a ton. I saw a bit of it, but it never really sort of did anything for me when I was a kid, so I didn't watch a ton of it. But I'm curious about the controversy about the new version that, of course, people there's a camp of old school fans who like hate it and new fans who love it, and it's the same old argument again and again. It's like, you've ruined my childhood, and it's like, really, how nobody went back in time and ripped the TV out of your living room, or did like beat you up while you were watching it and stuff like that. It's just a rematch. Like your version of He-Man still exists. Just chill. And
exactly,
it's too repetitive. Fandom lately, it's just a bunch of. I find we've been spoiled, and the argument basically boils down to, this isn't what I want, and it really takes the joy away from everybody else, and that's the worst form of fandom and gatekeeping and toxicity that's out there, and I'm just sick of it. So just enjoy new stuff.
Yeah. Do these people want a shot-for-shot remake of what you grew up on?
And
like,
that's
I don't
the thing. Just friggin' watch what you grew up on then. Just watch it. Like, no one's disappearing that. So I think it's that I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Right. There are people out there whose job it is to destroy shit for a living, right? To like rake it over the coals in online reviews, in the rush to be the first ones out there to do that. And I find that's interesting. Even with the Bad Batch, that's what Filoni was saying. Dave was saying to me, like, he was telling the co-creators for the show, it's like, don't go online, don't read any of the stuff that's out there, because there are literally people whose jobs it is to shit all over your work.
Yeah.
because it gets clicks. Because people, they want that.
Negativity gets views.
Yeah. And I think it's become so. I mean, and I fall down that stupid rabbit hole too, where you see the bylines and it's all clickbait, and I click on it, and the articles, there's nothing in them.
Yeah,
it's the worst kind of speculation, and it's like, well, they got the traffic from me because I'm stupid enough to go, oh, well, maybe they actually have something current I can just glean from it. And it's like, no, it's the same old. They've just taken the same press release, and just like, not even written anything new about it, just like repeated it and said, this is what it said in the official release, and that's it. Right. So it's ridiculous how lazy everything's gotten. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No, I get you. I wasn't huge on. I almost forgot how we got on this point, but I didn't really watch that much Masters of the Universe. I have some toys, but the animation looks really good, so I thought I'd give it a shot. And like off the bat, the introduction is badass. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this.
Nice.
And of course, having Mark Hamill doesn't hurt. Although sometimes I feel like I'm still hearing the Joker, and I don't know if that's just me or if everything bad guy Mark Hamill does sounds like the Joker. But either way, I'm there for it, and I'm gonna give it a shot. And you know what? Why get upset over a new show that's not the same as your childhood? A whole new generation gets to enjoy. And you know what's on the shelves right now? Waves. Of toys, waves of merch for the show.
Take the win.
Yeah,
take the win. Get that stuff. It's just, I don't know what this sense of entitlement. And I mean, I get it because fans do drive a series, and with the fans make a show. But I mean, a show needs to grow as well. And it needs to remain relevant. And if like these fans are like circling around it and being so protective over a franchise and gatekeeping and basically saying you're not allowed to be a fan because you like that new series, so screw you. What is that? Go to your old man hermit hole.
Star Wars all over again, right?
Exactly. And just sit on your hoard of like twisted memories and fucking be alone. It's ridiculous. So,
man, sometimes these clickbait titles are just completely off. Like someone said Kyle Lowry. I saw a headline: Kyle Lowry signed with the Miami Heat. I'm like, what? When did this happen? And I go into it, and then there's like no mention of it. It's like, oh, here's what would happen if he were to sign. I'm like, damn you! So I went into my settings and I like blocked that site. I'm like, don't show me anything from this website ever again, Google. So I was pissed.
You show him. You show him that. See, supportive.
That's what the feedback system is for. Well, do we have any more beefs with the internet?
And what else do we hate this week?
And you know what? We've been talking about what we can do once the Bad Batch is over. I love doing this every week with you two, and Paul had mentioned we can do so. I think it was an idea he just threw out there, where it's just like what grinds my gears, and it's just basically the last 5 minutes of what was going on right now, but only that. And you know what? After seeing that, I could. It might work.
It should be the opposite. What are we excited about this week? Let's keep it positive.
It should, because we did say, it's the negativity that gets the views. That's what it would have been. Almost fell into that trap.
What do we dare to love this week? Tune in to find out.
Oh yes, we need. I need someone in the chat while I go through everyone, their website, socials, what they're plugging. I need someone in the chat to choose an emote for us to emulate for the thumbnail for next week. Thank you, Winger Lose, for reminding me of that one. Yoko, what have you got going on? Are you going back on Twitch for a little bit? Or are you gonna?
I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna stream tomorrow. I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I haven't really thought about it. Probably keep working on it. Have I shown this guy on the stream? My example of the blinging.
It's too bright.
It's still too bright.
Equally bright. Can you hold it back a little?
Yeah, well, what if here, this is the only thing I have. Nope. Well,
is that a Usagi Yojimbo?
No, this is my friend Valor and Vellum is her name, and she makes these figures called Sune, but it's like her own kind of fox inspired figure, and she makes the figures. This was a blank that I got from her, and I've been blinging it out. So that's what I've been doing on some of my streams. But yeah, it's too hard to see there. So if you're curious, you have to come to my stream to check it out. But yeah, no. So I'm gonna stream again tomorrow, and I've got some ideas that I'm working through. So things I want to do in the future instead of just. I don't like being like every week. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do this week. So I'm trying to have more of a plan, and I think I'm getting there. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Paul, you did a stream yesterday. Again, I couldn't hop in.
How was your baseball game?
We won, and I didn't lose my voice yelling at anyone.
I love the fact that you always take the time in the middle of a baseball game to hop on the chat and to say hi and then log out. I truly do actually. I really do appreciate that. It's
Gotta
really
support.
Nice thing. I have one thing. Shut up, Tommy.
Is that our first Shut Up Tommy of the episode?
That's the first one.
That's a record.
First one, yeah. And that's for the Paul equals old man yells at cloud. Shut your filthy cake hole.
I didn't even see that.
It's true. It is true. It is true. Shut up, Tommy.
Paul's gonna write a letter to somebody after this.
I'm pretty excited. I've got a couple of things on the go. We're building. I mentioned this on my live stream yesterday. I'm jumping into the membership pool in terms of offering subscribers a chance at being a member of Bitter Asian Dude Inc.
Oh, nice.
We've got 2 levels, emojis, badges, and special things for members, which I'm very, very excited about. Members only live streams, chat features, videos, and I've got a couple of really. I'm actually excited, but kind of scared at some of these challenges that I'm going to do. Then they're going to be member exclusive ones. One of which is I got this really weird ad on my Instagram account, and it was for MREs. If people don't know, they're
military ration.
Military rations, basically.
Oh,
and so I was
boy.
like, "Why is this on my feed?" So I clicked on it. And it's being sold through Amazon, and they've got all these different options. And I thought maybe it'd be fun to do a video of me. The challenge is that's all I can eat for 4 days is these MREs. And so I thought that would be fun to sort of document to see, like, okay, what is this all about? I mean, it showed up on my Amazon feed. People are buying these things, right? Doomsday preppers, hikers, weekend warriors. So I think that'd be fun to do. Like, so Kevin's already dying right there, and I think the entertainment value alone of me having to eat this shit would be fantastic. So I think
there's a YouTuber I watch every once in a while because I don't know, I'm just kind of fascinated by it. But like that's what he does is eat MRE.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say I think it's Steve 1989 is his name. But like I don't know, he did one for Thanksgiving where he made his own, and like he was so happy eating it. Like it's just like he gets such joy out of eating these MREs, and it just sucks me into the episode and want like I went down that rabbit hole of watching all these MRE videos from this guy. I was like, it totally
there is an audience for this, Paul.
Yeah, so that's funny. It's great to hear that somebody else has done it too, because I thought this is I'm curious myself as to the quality of the food, because when you look on Amazon, at least for the stuff that's listed there, and you read the reviews, some of it's pretty hilarious. So I think that'll be a fun challenge to see, kind of like a mini Morgan Spurlock, except instead of just eating McDonald's, I'll just be eating MREs.
Yeah.
And it was going to be for like a 7-day period, but then I thought somebody said there's a lot of sodium in those things, so maybe you cut it in half so you don't kill yourself. So yeah, that's right. I live a block away from the hospital, so that'll be good.
I thought it was either going to be like a mukbang series where you just sit and eat MREs.
Ooh, space food. That would be fun too.
Or it also reminded me of Leonard from Community, where he just reviews like microwave or instant frozen pizzas. I don't know if you watched.
I had to think about who that
they
was.
would do at the end of the episode, where he would review like potato chips.
Yeah.
Oh my! It's just all that imagery coming in, but like Paul doing it, and that's why I was just uncontrollably laughing. and also because my failure to also shout out that I have the membership option on my channel for everyone. I completely forgotten to do that today. So thanks, Paul, for the reminder.
No worries. That's where I got the idea from, actually. So, from
wait, we
your
didn't
channel.
decide on a thing yet. I think someone did the screaming. Toy Rensu says this one. Gary says I think you should do the facepalm emote for the gatekeeping. But then you wouldn't see these ridiculous faces. What do you think? Is that the facepalm one, Paul?
I think you could do a half facepalm. It's like
half facepalm.
What if it's like in like?
Wow, that was very majestic. What was that?
Like
look
it's
like
a,
you're gonna
it's
smack
like,
yourself in the
I
Yeah.
imagine that's how the queen face palms. Can you do that again? Just
no, that was a one-time thing. Sorry, gotta rewind.
word. Should be an Olympic event.
I got a lot of practice.
But
Face palming.
this week I've got a review coming out tomorrow. Wednesday, there is going to be a Hasbro Fan First Wednesday Marvel event. So I'll be doing my usual recap with my friends Troy and Jason. 4:30 in the afternoon, I believe. Thursday, Unboxing Thursdays is back. It will be a back-to-back with the Toy Migos. So they will be on with me from 9 to 11 Eastern, and then I'll be on theirs from 11 till God knows when.
Fun.
1
Okay.
a.m. But those guys are fantastic.
I'll tune in for Toy Migos.
And it has begun. And it has begun. So if you're into more toy stuff, feel free to check out Toy Migos on YouTube and the Instagram as well. They are fantastic. And Friday I have another video. Saturday I'm thinking it's just me, a wrap up of what happened this month. And I think I'll have some giveaways as well sometime in the afternoon. So, just come by, hang out, and maybe some guests, maybe some guests and giveaways. That's 2 G's. I need alliteration. Is the rule of 3.
What's tomorrow?
I have a video review.
Oh.
Oh, sorry to disappoint. You heard it, right, Paul?
I heard it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was so used to it. It almost slipped by until you mentioned it.
That was just my normal voice.
Clip it. Just clip it. Somebody clip it. Yeah, lovely. What a lovely feeling that was. But you don't want to. You don't want to see my face for 31 days, and I don't have anything else to talk about. So
is your face not in your review? Are you
No.
you're like a hands review guy?
I'm a hands voice guy. I don't need to be like. I don't have the cool face for talking words.
The cool face for talking.
For talking words. I don't have the vocabulary either. And real quick, pre-orders for the Devourer of Worlds t-shirt on toyingaround.ca. That's the new website. Pre-orders are open until August 8th of this year. Almost said month. That would be wrong. So August 8th. I have a face for radio. Thank you, Terrence. That guy.
Are you working on a White Claw variant?
A White Claw of the shirt? Oh, the Devourer of White Claws?
Yeah.
Is it just Paul's face on the Galactus body?
with a beverage.
Paul in a Galactus cosplay and the accessories are like, I don't know, another bucket, White Claw, mango?
No, I like the raspberry now. That's my new favorite. It was lime, but I like raspberry.
It's all good. So please, if I'm not on here on the YouTube or Twitch, you can find me on Instagram at Toying Around. Yoko is Livin La Vida Yoko.
Yeah, with no Loki stream, and I'm sad.
On Instagram at Angry Appa. And okay.
Wait. Did you ever watch the making of episode, the Loki?
No.
Because there's a moment where Tom Hiddleston. It's the making of. There's no spoilers really, right? But when you watch it, I want you guys to watch for the moment where, it's Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson on screen, and Tom is talking about like how I think about Owen's casting, or about the Mobius character. And the introduction, the lead up to him just talking about Owen Wilson just reminds me of Kevin and his intros. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know if anyone who's watched it can confirm what I'm saying, but it made me laugh because I was like, oh, that reminded me of our streams and our intros.
Cool.
That really is not a selling point for me. Yoko.
No, it's great. Patty says yes.
No, what? No. Come on. Okay, fine. I'll watch it. I have some work to do, but I'll watch it.
It's great.
Okay, which one are we doing? Are we doing facepalm? The Majestic face?
True.
Or are we doing the
What are we doing?
Okay, we'll do the facepalm.
Okay, wait. Am I going this way? No, I'll go this way. Okay.
Thank you everyone for watching. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe on your way out if you haven't already, and keep toying around. What is that? It looks
Am
like
I still doing it? Oh,
your
are we
son.
done?
Are we all doing that? Or what are we doing?
Well, you said you didn't want to cover up our face.
I'm gonna do a regular facepalm.
Was mine not a regular face?
No, yours was very.
I was like about to face palm though. I was just being dramatic about it.
Okay, go 3, 2,
Wait, which
1.
hand? Okay.